All right, let's talk about something that's quietly changing, well, everything. It's this idea of the agentic era. And it boils down to one really critical question. Are your tools actually working for you, or are you working for them?
So check this out. The person who wrote the piece we're looking at today just went on a total cancellation spree. We're talking Substack, Descript, Riverside, a whole bunch of really popular SaaS tools. And look, these aren't bad tools, right? They're actually fantastic at what they do.
And that's the big question, isn't it? If the software is good, why on earth would you cancel it? Well, the answer. It uncovers a totally new way of looking at the tech we use every single day. And honestly, this shift could change pretty much everything about how we get work done.
Okay, so this brings us to the first big idea here. This whole cancellation thing, it's way more than just trying to save a few bucks a month. Think of it as a brand new litmus test for every single app, every single tool in your arsenal.
So what's the common thread here? Well, it all comes down to one word: friction. See, if your AI agent, your new digital sidekick, can't just plug in and run a tool for you, it's a huge headache. Like Substack? Gone, because it had no API for an agent to hook into. Riverside and Descript, they got the boot because they're not really text first, which is what these agents love to work with. The bottom line is, if your AI can't use the tool for you, then that tool is actually creating more work, not less. It's a deal breaker. Okay, so if that old way of doing things, that tool-first mindset, is just creating friction, what's the alternative? Well, it's a whole new paradigm, and it's called the agentic first filter. So agent first, it's a totally radical new way to look at technology. We used to ask, what are the features? Or, ooh, does it have a nice UI? Forget all that. The only question that really matters now is, can my AI agent run this for me? It completely flips the script on how we choose our tools. And to make this less abstract, let's meet Gawain. This is the author's personal AI agent. And you gotta understand, this isn't just some passive tool you click on. It's an active partner. Gawain handles all the grunt work: the posting, the social media, the image creation, the analytics, all of it. And that frees up the human to do what humans do best: the real deep thinking. I mean, the difference here is just night and day. In the old tool-first world, we were the ones in the trenches, the operators clicking all the buttons, managing these crazy workflows. But in this new agentic-first world, the agent is the operator. Our job fundamentally changes. We go from being a doer to being a thinker. We stop being just users of tools, and we become directors of agents. Now, when you have a shift this massive, it's not just about workflows, right? It hits the wallet too. It changes the entire economic model. And that brings us to the new economy of this agentic era, which is all about moving from subscriptions to tokens. So instead of that predictable, fixed subscription fee you pay every month, whether you use a service or not, the new model is all about variable token spend. The best way to think about it is like your electricity bill. You only pay for what your AI agent actually uses to get stuff done. So the whole game changes. You stop worrying about monthly overhead and start focusing on actual output and how much leverage you're getting. And the amount of money we're talking about here might just blow your mind. The author suggests that a senior developer could easily spend over 100,000 euros a year. And you might think, why so much? But it's because every single token you spend is a direct investment in automation. It's a task you didn't have to do yourself. In this new world, if you're not spending on tokens, you're not really delegating. And that means you're probably falling behind. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. We're handing off all our tasks to AI. We're spending all this money on tokens. It sounds like we're becoming more robotic, right? Less human. But here's the twist. The argument is that this shift does the exact opposite. It's about becoming more human, not less. Think of it like peeling an onion. At the center, you have your core self. That's your curiosity, your creativity, your big ideas. But then we add all these layers on top, right? Every SaaS subscription is a layer of responsibility. Every workflow is a layer of mental clutter. The amazing thing is that AI agents can take over those outer layers. They peel back all the busy work, and what's left? You get back to your actual human core. And look, the stakes for getting this right are incredibly high. There's a pretty chilling warning in the source material from the philosopher Hoffman. He basically says that if we don't realize we're more than just cogs in a machine, if we don't lean into our humanity, we'll just end up becoming the AI's pet. Pretty stark, huh? So what do we do about that?
The answer isn't to fight back against AI or throw our computers out the window. Nope, the antidote is presence. It's about doubling down on the stuff that code can't replicate: our awareness, our consciousness, our humanity. All right, so this is all great as a big idea, but let's get practical. What does this actually mean for you? How do you take this and start forging your own path forward in this new agentic era? Let's break it down. First, let's look at your tools. The test here is super simple. For every piece of software you use, you ask one question: does this thing have an API? An API is basically just a door that lets your AI agent in to do the work. If the answer is no, you've got a tough choice. Either find an alternative that does have that door, or maybe, just maybe, you drop that task altogether. And then you have to apply that exact same filter to your own job. You've got to ask yourself, what parts of my work can only be done by a human? We're talking about real wonder, about tough judgment calls, about ethical thinking, about building relationships. Your new mission, should you choose to accept it, is to do way more of that stuff and be absolutely relentless about delegating everything else to your agents. And that really brings us to the final and I think most powerful idea here. The subscription that's actually worth keeping isn't the one with the coolest new features. It's the one that helps you become more of what you already are, the one that gets out of your way and lets you be more human. So the question to leave you with is this: are your tools just making you a more efficient machine, or are they helping you become more of who you're meant to be?